Good morning. So today I am talking about why should I care about my numbers? And this is a theme that I'm going to be talking about during the course of this week because I was on a Zoom call yesterday. Yes, even on a bank holiday, I was on a Zoom, and I was talking to some of my clients about the numbers position and how important it is. And there was a few topics that particularly came up which genuinely surprised me, which is why I want to talk about those things during the course of this week. So why should you care about your numbers? Now, in my opinion, one of the fundamentals about knowing your numbers is the ability to be able to make informed decisions. So we have recently just started a new tax year, and I would be really interested to know from you guys is what preparation have you actually put into place for the new tax year? Have you done anything, or is it a case of it doesn't really even blip on your radar? Because actually it's quite an important part. And one of the things that I see so frequently is a lot of businesses run their financial year alongside the tax year. So to those of you that I would hope would know this, but effectively your tax year runs in terms of in April to April. So then you have in terms of your financial year. So what am I talking about when I talk about your financial year? Now, some of this terminology, this is something I've realised recently, is what I take for granted is as terminology that I just know off the top of my head. I'm realising that actually a lot of you don't necessarily even realise what the terminology means. So your financial year is effectively the year in which your business runs from and to within your accounts. Now, some people will run it from January to December. Some will run it alongside the tax year. Mine, for example, runs from the 1st of September. It can be any point in the year, but it is relevant for things like when your corporation tax has to be paid, is relevant for when your accounts has to be filed at Companies House if you're a limited company. It's quite an important part. And within your financial year, when you're looking at planning for your business, what you're then wanting to look at is what are the targets or goals that you want to hit for that particular financial year. And this is a really, really ideal time to be considering the business planning component. And the business planning part is such a crucial part. Now, I talk about business growth plans. And to me, they are a really, really integral document that should be a working document. And so many businesses don't have them. And I know a lot will say to me, well, why do I need one? Well, one of the key things is if you have a goal written down, you're more likely to actually achieve it. So, you would put things like goals in a business growth plan, but you would also stipulate things like how you're actually going to achieve those goals. You would talk about in terms of your services, you might be considering improving your services or improving the products, or you might be considering investing into your business in one way or another. So in the construction world, it could be the fact that you're investing in a piece of equipment. It could be the fact that you are considering investing into more staff, or it could be that you're considering investing into premises or larger premises. And all of these things need to be planned for rather than them literally just happening because you suddenly decide to. And this is where knowing your numbers is actually a really, really important part. Because ultimately, how can you make an informed decision if you can afford that new member of staff? If you can afford to be able to move into premises, if you can afford to buy this big expensive piece of machinery, because ultimately you've got to be able to look at what your financial position has been and doing projections for where you think your business is likely to be. And You've got to know that, and you've got to be able to track those numbers to be able to make those informed decisions. So what I would really love to know from you guys is, one, have any of you actually set down what your goals are for the next financial year? You know, what is the point in which you want to hit in terms of your turnover? When I talk about turnover, again, I'm going to pretend like you don't know, and I know many of you do know about what turnover is. Effectively, it's the level of sales in which you have produced, or what you're intending to produce. So the next question then is in terms of how much profit do you want to be able to hit now, whether that is a figure or whether that's a percentage. So for example, in a lot of service-based businesses, I would hope that the percentage would be around the 50 to 60% profit margin. So have a look and make the decision today as to what you are aiming for this financial year or for this tax year. How much are you aiming to hit in terms of your turnover? If there is something that you want to invest in, right? Like I said, whether it's premises, whether it's staff, whether it's equipment, make a note of how much that is actually going to cost you, when do you want to achieve it, and therefore how much do you need to have available in terms of cash flow to be able to enable you to actually take that step. Now, I also want you to have a look at, in terms of knowing, where is your profit for your last financial year? And if any of you turn around and say, I'm waiting for my accountant to tell me, that is not good enough. As a business owner, you need to know what your own profit level is. People rely so heavily on accountants, and don't get me wrong, accountants are worth their weight in gold and they are so important to your business, but they should be aiding your business and you should not be relying solely on them. So if you've got a decent accounts package like Xero, you can look at your own profit and loss and you can actually see how much profit you have made in the last financial year. So check it and know it, that you should be knowing that number, not just when you hit the end of your financial year. This is something you should be knowing at least on a monthly basis, if not weekly or daily. You should be tracking those numbers. So they are three key things that I want you to really be focusing on. Is, what is your goal in terms of your sales that you want to generate for this financial year or this tax year? What big investments do you want to make in your business? And ultimately, when do you want to do it, and how much cash do you need? And what was your actual profit for this last financial year or that last tax year? I want you to know this information. If you need any help in being able to identify this information, if you need any help in being able to plan for any of these things, if you want to be able to sit down and actually reverse engineer as to how you're going to hit that turnover or that sales level, then what I just need you to do is pop in the comments that you would like to have a discussion with me. I will also stick a link in my diary for you to be able to book a strategy session with me, which is literally a conversation where we talk about your business and how I can potentially help you with the growth and actually give you some hints and tips that you can take away immediately. So I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope you've taken something from that. I will be talking more about your numbers during the course of this week. And in the meantime, if you've got any questions, then make sure that you contact me. Have a great day, everyone.